strong religious convictions whatsoever, and what we often get is a situation, people went to Syria, what's the first book they buy off Amazon? Islam for Dummies. People like this will select and choose from religion or otherwise to justify their bigotry.
That's my point. A lot of the people, again, you've gone off to fight in Syria and Iraq, they're looking for something, they've got something missing in their lives, they're looking for something. But this guy, by whatever reason you do it, if you kill 50 people, you are a lunatic. And to a certain extent...
Let's just return to the fact that in LA, the gay pride event has passed off without an attack.
Despite
but again, there was an arrest of person
who wasn't a Muslim.
Well, we don't know what the, as far as we know, with explosives in a car and arms as well. So, you know, clearly there is the question about whether there is as you say, a hate crime, or whether something's being done in the name of religion. And we do have to try and delineate between the two.
People rationalise their hatred. This guy, apparently, according to his dad, saw two men kissing, and he was repulsed by it. And people know this who are gay, that there are people out there who are sickened and repulsed by our very existence. And this guy, however he dresses up his bigotry and hatred, is somebody who hates gays. He hates LGBT people. And he had a gun, and because of, as you say, America's gun laws, he used that to murder LGBT people. But can we just be clear, just so, because you say it's lunatics and all the rest of it, we've got to be clear, if he went into a synagogue and killed innocent Jewish people, as we've got people in the past who've done that, disgusting anti-Semitic terrorists, we would call it out for what it is. This person is a homophobic terrorist, whatever else he is. Presumably he's got some twisted view of Islamic fundamentalism to justify his, even though he's just a knuckle-dragging thug and bigot. At the end of the day, this was a homophobic hate crime as well as terrorism. Has to be called out, because I have to say, on Sky News and other lots of news channels, there's not been many LGBT voices that I've personally heard myself. And people have to understand, as LGBT people watching this and elsewhere, that they look at something like this, and it is one of the worst atrocities committed against LGBT people in the Western world for generations.
Well, it
has to be called out
as such. It's something that's carried out against human beings, isn't it? No matter
LGBT,
what.
No,
because let's just make this point that you cannot say this is a worse attack than what happened in Paris, where again innocent people were actually.
I said about LGBT people. What I'm saying is, this has to be called out for what it is. It was an intentional attack on LGBT people. This person...
on the freedom of all people to try and enjoy themselves as Bataclan.
No, I'm sorry, can we just explain? You don't understand this because you're not gay, OK? So just
whether
listen.
I'm gay or not has no...
No, it does.
It has no reflection on the fact that this person killed 50 people.
You have ownership of horror of this crime.
Can I just say, I find this astonishing.
I'm not Jewish and I'm not gay.
Excuse me.
I'm not French, but I still am equally horrified by these crimes.
Let's stick with what the papers are saying about it rather than what you're saying at the moment. But that's the headline. ISIL wages war on gays in West. Now, you share that view that basically this was deliberately targeted on one part of the community rather than the freedom to enjoy yourself no matter what your sexual orientation is.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the coverage in the newspapers.
Yeah, I'm trying
That's what we're here for.
I'm trying to understand the point you're making. This was a deliberate attack on LGBT people in an LGBT venue. It was a homophobic terrorist attack. Do you not understand that?
No,
it's not some abstract kind of, he just picked a random club out of nowhere. He picked a club because it was full of people he regarded as deviants.
Okay,
that's why he attacked the club.
I think part of the issue is, okay, this is it's a hate crime, this is an act of terrorism, all accept it, it was an attack on gay people. Absolutely, it's horrific. However, my guess is this man probably would be as horrified by me as a gobby woman as he would. Genuinely, this is the thing. We don't know right now. We can speculate, but we don't know. We don't know how much of this is motivated by just his homophobia, whether that in any way is related to his religion.
We heard from his own father. We heard from his own father.
We know
about
he's
his
homophobic.
Why are we trying to deflect? I mean, what?
We are not trying to deflect. No. We are trying to reflect what is being said by the authorities here. And to quote, you've brought up his father. I'm now going to quote from what the Telegraph is saying. Mateen's father said his son, a US citizen of Afghan descent, may have targeted the gay community after becoming angry when he saw
saying this?
After seeing two men kissing in Miami some months ago.
He
may have been angered by many other things.
I'm sorry, I just find this the most astonishing thing I've ever been involved in on television. If he'd walked into a synagogue and massacred dozens of Jewish people, you wouldn't be saying what you're saying now,
We're not saying
you would be
he's not
talking
homophobic.
about as an anti-Semitic attack. This was a deliberate attack on LGBT people. It was a deliberate attack on the LGBT community.
As
Yes,
it was on those people in the fact, it's not bizarre. We are trying to draw parallels in terrorist attacks on people who are being attacked, whether they are enjoying rock music in Paris, whether they are gay people in Florida enjoying a night out.
This was an attack on LGBT people. This was a homophobic attack.
Can I say that the issue? Okay, I completely accept, as he does, that it was a homophobic attack. But for me, the issue is there are going to be homophobic people. There'll be people who hate black people or who hate gay people or hate Jewish people. There are going to be people who are lunatics. There are going to be people who are fanatics.
Who are lunatics? Stop using these words, Julia.
Is it possible for me to finish one sentence?
If you stop using words like lunatic to talk about homophobic terrorist attacks.
Here's the thing. I'll choose the words I want to use, and you choose the words you want to use. Do you understand?
Go for it, Julia.
Okay, well, thank you. So whoever these people are and whatever their motivations are, the key thing is we're always going to have mad and bad people in the world. And the key issue is that they can't do too much or any harm. When you have free access to assault weapons in a country like America, then they are able to put their hatred of other people into effect.
Now, this is an issue that President Obama brought up in his news conference at the White House, because we have, obviously, again, an assault rifle that's been used in this particular attack. Now, in terms of the political reaction in the United States, we've got Donald Trump tonight calling for all foreign-born Muslims to be banned again from entering the US, but no call for gun crime controls. Now, no matter who you want to target with the attacks, is this, again, a major issue for America, or is it that these people will be able to get hold of the weapons wherever they are in the world?
No, because that's an interesting thing. They don't get hold of the weapons in Australia. They don't get hold of the weapons in England. You know, Canada actually has more guns per person than America, but they have controls over who can have them. It is absolutely absurd. Look, if America were not going to do something about gun control after Sandy Hook in 2012, if you're going to watch 6- and 7-year-olds being massacred and you don't think you need to act, they are never going to act.
I think I'm right in saying Old Compton Street was a nail bomb.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. But they're never going to act. But this is it. But Trump's reaction, the tweets he sent out since, have been so beyond acceptable in terms of the reaction of a normal human being, let alone someone who wants to be the leader of the free world.
He's called for President Obama to resign tonight as well. Let's go back. There's something else here in the Telegraph coverage which I think we need to bring up, Owen, in relation to your point. And that is, I think that we've got a warning, or at least a call from, just going to move it across, a spokesman for Stonewall saying that people would be feeling vulnerable. And basically indicating...
You're going to have an LGBT voice talking about it. Interesting.
Sorry?
Nothing. Carry on. Go on.
Owen, seriously.
I've had enough of this. Let me go home.
Owen, genuinely. We're trying to have a civilised conversation. I know you're upset. You're upset.
I'm very upset.
I'm quite right. Everyone's upset and angry about this, but storming off a TV set...
Right, well, I think we'll continue the press preview and say that clearly there is now a concern. They've got the London Pride Festival on June the 25th. Peter Tatchell saying it's always been on the cards. However, is the danger, as we've just been discussing, that you focus on one particular area and not the whole threat to our modern way of life?
Exactly. I mean, we remember with Paris, it was, as people said at the time, it was an attack on people having fun. It was people going to a football match, people in a bar, people at a rock concert.
Music.
This was a horrific homophobic attack. And I think, you know, an awful lot of gay and bisexual and transgender people who have to walk around with fear. You know, it's all very well if you live in central London, in Soho, it's probably fine, but actually an awful lot of people still live in fear. Lots of people still don't come out, and they live in fear. But to have this extra fear, I think is horrific. And look, I understand Owen is very, very emotional about it, and completely understandably...
Well, he's decided to leave us, so that's his decision. Let me make one last point on this, and that is that we've had ISIS claiming responsibility for this with what was an issue of a statement from their news organisation. Should we take that at face value, or basically is there a danger they climb on board of any
Although
mad
actually they've
attack?
got a history of being quite slow at claiming crimes. But in this case, because of the 911 call, as we've been told by the States, we do get a lot more information from American police, you know, and crime, you know, agencies, much more quickly than we do here in Britain. And they've come out and said that he declared his joining ISIL in his 911 call. Now, when we've heard that, then we'll know. But look, at the end of the day, we have to take people to some extent at face value, if that's what he declares his view is. But
that's his intent.
But again,
yeah.
on the side from the gun issue, there's also this big issue in terms of how much his attitudes are fed by Islamic State, or by his faith, or just by an attitude that has been going on in America lately in terms of transgender use of bathrooms and that, where there is a development, they are feeding gay hatred.
Coming up, there are other issues in the papers, including the royal events in London today, and also the football, the latest on UEFA and its warning to England and Russia. More coming up in a moment. Stay with us.